Hello everybody and welcome to our lavender farm. So today we are going to talk about propagation, lavender propagation. Let's go! Hello guys, I'm glad to see you again. So this time of year is we are in March right now and we are in zone 6B in Eastern Europe, in Romania actually. So this is my lavender field, and in the spring and fall I always propagate lavender. You can propagate lavender almost an entire year. So if you have a greenhouse, you definitely can propagate every single month of the year. It doesn't matter if it's cold, it doesn't matter if it's hot. But the advantage of propagating lavender now is that this is semi-hard wood. It's not hard wood, but it's not green, so it's very easy now to propagate. How so? Well, if you cut it down, you will just use this. So this is a little cutting, you see? So this is a little cutting, and now you can put it in directly in the ground, or you can put it in a pot. I'm going to tell you about the advantages and the disadvantages. So if you are propagating lavender and you put it now in March or April or May directly into the ground, you have a much better chance of the cutting to have roots. Why? Because it's hardwood, and when the sun hits the soil is getting warmed up. So what it's doing, the cutting is forcing the roots to appear. So put it exactly in the ground, it doesn't matter, so the roots will start appear. The problem is when you are propagating lavender and just put it exactly in the soil, in the dirt, is that you cannot move it from there until the fall. If you dig it out in the middle of the summer, you will have problems and it will die. But if you propagate this in a single pot, a small pot, if the roots are starting to show, then you can just take it up from that little pot and put it in a bigger pot. It doesn't matter. So you have advantages or disadvantages. If you put it directly in the ground, it doesn't need that much water. So you can just let it there, you can water it once a week or something. If it's raining, don't water it at all. But if you will put it in a pot, the water from the pot will evaporate very fast. And if it's sunny, you will have to water it every day. So I do it both ways. I'm propagating my lavender from cuttings, but always from cutting. I don't recommend you propagate your lavender from seeds. Do you see? This is my field. So if you are looking on our clips from the lavender field, you will see that all of them are the same. So I have, I think, 15 types of lavender, but I want them all to be the same. And if you want all your lavender to be the same, you will have, they will have to be from the same parent, because it's a clone. But if you propagate it from seeds, then some of the lavender will be bigger, some of it will be smaller, some of them, the stems will be higher, darker. It's like a brother and sister. But if you propagate it exactly from cutting, all the plants will be the same. So I recommend you doing from the cutting. And some of the studies shows that if you are propagating your lavender from a cutting, your lavender has a greater chance to live longer, to resist diseases and pests. Although lavender, everybody says lavender doesn't have any pests or diseases. It's not true. You will have some problems, especially when it's moist. But we are now talking about propagation of the lavender. So yeah, take a cutting, and if you want to stick it directly in the ground, just like this, or if you want to put it in a starting mix or those small trays with small pots, just cut it like this. And this is a little cutting. So if you do this with your scissor, you will see that here is green. So just put it in the ground don't worry, it doesn't need to be put somewhere in a greenhouse or something. No, it will help if it's in the greenhouse. But if it's in a greenhouse, you'll have to be very careful. Just go and watch as the water doesn't evaporate from the soil. You don't need to cover it up with a ball or something. You don't. That's only in the middle of the summer. You will have to cover your cuttings only when they are green. So remember, spring is very, very easy to propagate lavender. So what am I going to do now is I'm going to trim all these lavenders. I kept some of the lavenders, I kept some mother plants to propagate from them. I didn't trim them, I didn't prune them last fall because I wanted to have something to make cuttings out of it. I usually prune my lavender in the fall, and I have one good reason for that. It's because if we have a heavy snow, then the lavender is going to resist better. And if I prune it in the fall, because of the moist in the soil, the moist won't stay in the lavender. It will just disappear of winds, maybe a little bit of a sun. So I am doing this in the fall. If you don't live like us in zone 6B, where we have sometimes minus 15 Celsius degrees, it's okay for you to trim it whenever you want. I prune my lavender twice, once in the fall, and then the second time after I harvest it. Okay, so I'm going to take some 100 of cuttings, and then I'm going to show you how will I plant them directly in the soil, and then I'm going to go in the greenhouse and I'm going to show you how am I planting them over there in the starters. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'm here. Okay, so I have, I think, 50 cuttings or something. I don't know how many I will need over here. I think I'll have 1.5 meters on 3 meters wide. And I have some chickens, not mine. Okay, so I'll see how many of these will fit in here, but I want to plant more of them because I have 15 types, and I want to plant like pink lavender, Miss Catherine I have, and this is Maet. So I want to plant, I think, 3 types of lavender here. So last year I planted them exactly how I told you, 2 ways. Directly in the soil and in the pots. The advantages of planting them directly in the soil in the spring is that they are getting bigger than any lavender in pots. You can treat them, you can fertilize them, it doesn't matter. When you plant them directly in the soil, you won't have any problems. But the disadvantage is I have weeds here, lots of weeds. So last year I was weeding and I had enough. So this year I have a good idea. Just put this cloth on the soil, dig some holes in it, and then just plant the lavender over there, okay? So this cloth is helping me with 3 things. 1, keeping the moist down underneath, under the cloth is moist. So that's a good thing for the lavender, for them to make roots. Second, it helps me with the weeds. I have enough of weeds. I'm done weeding. My back hurts of weeding, okay? So this is the second thing. And third, this cloth reflects the sunlight up. So what is going to happen at the base level is going to be dry because it reflects the sun, but beneath is going to be moist. So that's good. That's all I want for these things to make roots. So now what am I going to do is I'm going to cover all this soil with this weed mat, and then I'm going to dig some, I'm going to just cut into the material and plant them directly in the soil. So I'm going to show you at the end the finished result. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I finished putting the weed mat on the ground. Now in theory, I won't have any weeds over here, but I know from my experience that where I'm going to poke the material and plant the cuttings, I will have weeds over there, but it's still, nevertheless, it's easier like this than to have the soil just free and the weeds growing next to my cuttings. So, okay, I'm gonna start poke and do the holes and plant the lavender, and I will come back when it's finished over here, and then I will show you the next way, the other way to propagate lavender in small containers in the greenhouse. Okay, see you. Okay, so I just finished planting 1,000 cuttings. So I give them a good water, a good soaking, and now I'm just gonna wait. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna keep you updated with this. So now let's go in the greenhouse and I'm gonna show you how to propagate the lavender from cuttings in small containers. Let's go. Okay guys, so now we are in the greenhouse and I'm gonna show you the second way that you can propagate lavender. So the first one is just by sticking your cuttings directly into the ground, and the second one to put them in these starters. Okay, so what you are going to do is almost the same thing. Okay, take your cutting, I'm going to show you, and strip all these leaves from it. Remember, this is a hardwood cutting, okay? So you'll have this only in spring. So now, this is a little bit too long, okay? So it doesn't fit into our starter. But what you do, just take your scissor and cut it down, okay? So now, this is your cutting. You don't have to do anything. In the spring, you'll just have to do this and nothing else. So if you want, you can use growth hormone to make roots. We have one here in Romania, it's called radistim, but it doesn't matter. I don't use this in cuttings for lavender because you can propagate lavender very easily. It doesn't need rooting hormone, but if you want it, this is a liquid one, but I know you have powder, so just stick your cutting into the powder or into the liquid and just wait 3 seconds, okay? So then you will take your cutting and you'll put it in your tray, just like this, as simple as that. After I'm gonna fill all of this starting tray, I'm going to give it good water and then just wait. Don't bother, don't just let them be. You'll have to be very careful for your mix here to not get dry. You'll need to maintain a little bit of humidity, but don't bother. You'll go and maybe if it's very hot, just go in the morning, water them once in a 3 days, 4 days. If you have a greenhouse, this is different because in the greenhouse it can be very hot sometimes. So maybe once, 2 days or something like that, but don't bother, don't cover them, just let them be. So my soil, my mix here is peat moss and perlite. So it's 5 peat moss and 1 perlite. So this is a fluffy mix. If you don't have perlite, just put sand. Mix it with sand, exactly like that. Fill your trays and don't worry. Gardening should be very easy, should be very fun. It's about fun. It's gardening. It should be relaxing. Don't stress yourself. Try to enjoy this, okay? So don't make this a problem. Okay, so after you fill all the tray, just give it a good water and wait. So what is going to happen? In 4 to 6 weeks, you might just see here in the bottom of your tray the roots of the lavender. If they don't, just wait. Be patient, okay? Lavender takes time to propagate, from hardwood cuttings. If you would have green cuttings from lavender, it would be the roots are going to appear sooner than in hardwood cuttings, but the problem is it's easy to lose your green cuttings. It's a little bit more difficult. You'll have to have a humidity dome to cover them for humidity to be there. But that's what I'm saying. In the spring it's so easy to propagate your lavender, okay? Just put your cuttings in the soil, in your trays, give it a good water and wait. And then after 6 weeks, when you'll see the roots, you will just take them outside from your trays and pot them in bigger pots. And maybe some of them you will watch and you'll see, oh, okay, this one didn't die, but it doesn't have any roots. So you have to wait. Because exactly like me, I had a tray full of lavenders, and I think all of them had roots, but 6 or 7 didn't. So I just let them there. I potted them up, and the others I just let them there. And then yesterday I went and I saw, and look, yeah, the small cutting had roots. And look at his brothers. So this is the brother. It's bigger, you see? This one is smaller. So that's why I'm telling you, just have patience and don't worry, okay? Well, from my experience, I hope this is going to be helpful for you. If you liked this clip, give it a like, share it with your friends if they love lavender. Comment if you have any questions. I will answer each and every single one of them, okay? So thank you for watching. I'm going to post more clips about lavender, propagating, about pruning, about taking care of the lavender, but not only lavender, but vegetables, gardening, and this kind of stuff, okay? So I hope you'll be there with me next time. Until there, see you soon. Stay safe. Bye.